Section 267. Deleted portion. You may or you may not include this in your notes as you prefer. I did make my earlier suggestion to Robert, also in the hopes that it would initiate the sort of discussion in which you have just been involved. I am thinking of you both. However, there is also a fine psychic balance upon which our sessions rest, and this balance must be maintained. Domestic tranquility is highly important to it. The psychic partnership that exists between you and Robert is absolutely necessary to our sessions. Now, within certain boundaries, and taking certain circumstances for granted, Robert is more flexible than you may think he is. I am simply not going to waste time by telling you that you have nothing to worry about financially, for neither of you believe me. This is quite all right, Seth smiled. Were I in your circumstance, I do not know if I would believe me either. The hard work of the last few years will indeed pay off, and surely. It does not matter whether or not Robert gets a job, because you are both simply unable to wait. It does matter if you worry too much. In some ways, you see you must both operate as a closed unit against the world, but you must also operate as an open unit, receptive to the world. You must close yourself off from some stimuli in order to fully utilize the stimuli that you do perceive. Physical reality is noisy and complicated, and riotous and contradictory. Nevertheless, there must also be balance, for to close yourself off too much robs you of any abundant expansion of spirit. The sense data is important, you see. The new balances that you separate personalities achieve lead you both to new expansions. Each expansion, however, must also be accompanied by a deepening security of necessary inner isolation. For from this inner isolation, you achieve the strength to expand psychically outward. When the balance is a good one, then the outward expansion leads to inner expansion. You should have spoken quicker. When you do not, you build up inner resentments that mitigate against your welfare. You are then tempted to see trivial disturbances as large ones, and to cut off all heads indiscriminately, in order to get rid of one or two main disturbances, because you can no longer tell one from the other. In any case, your faithful companion and so quiet partner Robert picked up your disquiet whether or not you speak of it. Now, he reacts, you see, by bothering you all the more, picking in on you, to discover whether or not you are really upset, or rather, if his own imagination runs away with him. When anyone is disturbed, chemically changes occur, as you know. Now, these changes affect the ways in which you perceive sense data. You know that you create physical matter. It is extremely important that you know your own emotional climate. For changes must come from the inside, and in that way you will change your environment. I am to some extent an affectionate but detached observer here. Most of your personal recommendations were valid ones. If you had made a stand earlier, however, you would have saved yourself time and effort. It would be most beneficial for you to do some painting outdoors or to walk outdoors. I have said much of this before, and undoubtedly I will say it often again. You may take a break before our extreme material. Rob note from the end of the sensation. Seth said, "Now if I gave a note to Rob, I gave one to you. You would do much better by being frank with him. For he becomes irritated and resentful when he feels you are upset, and is left to guess at the cause. For often he is not sure. Now, I could and will, whenever you wish, discuss your personal situation, whenever you want me to do so.